So, do you guys know or have any idea what a donkey and a crown have to do with the miracles of Jesus? Well, nothing really. But even though Jesus does not perform a miracle in today's true story, we will see what a donkey and a king have in common. The miracles of Jesus we've been learning about for the last 7 weeks all happened between the time Jesus started his ministry and his triumphal entry into the city of Jerusalem, which brings us to today. It was 5 days before Passover, a celebration to remember the time when God rescued the Israelites from being slaves in Egypt for over 400 years. Many people were making their way to Jerusalem to participate in the festival. Jesus and his disciples were also on their way to Jerusalem. Before they arrived, Jesus told 2 of his followers to go to a nearby village where they would find a young donkey that no one had ever ridden before. So they went and found the donkey and untied it. Some people asked them why they were taking the donkey, and they answered with something Jesus had told them to say. The Lord needs it and will send it back here shortly. And so the people let them take the donkey and they brought it back to Jesus. You see, this whole thing with the donkey was actually part of a prophecy coming true. A prophecy is a message from God. So, a long time before Jesus was born, God gave a special message to a man named Zechariah about something that would happen in the future. In Zechariah 9:9, we read, "Shout aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem! Behold, your king is coming to you, righteous and having salvation is he, humble and mounted on a donkey." So, do you think people who had heard about this prophecy would be expecting a king to save them? I would think so. God's people had been going through some hard stuff with their enemies, and they were probably more than ready for a big, strong warrior king to come and save them. But maybe they didn't quite notice the donkey part. Back then, a donkey was a symbol of humility and peace, which is not what we think of when we think of a warrior king. So as Jesus entered Jerusalem, there was a large crowd of people in front and behind him. Some people took off their outer layer of clothes and laid them on the ground, while others cut branches from the trees to lay on the ground as well. As Jesus rode the donkey over the pathway of clothes and branches, the people shouted, "Hosanna to the Son of David! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord! Hosanna in the highest heaven!" Seems like people were excited to see Jesus arrive. Laying clothes and branches on the ground was something people would do to celebrate when their triumphant or victorious king would return. In this case, the people thought they were celebrating the arrival of the king who would soon save them from their enemies. That's why they shouted, "Hosanna," which means save or save now. The people recognized Jesus as being from King David's family line and as being sent from God, but they didn't understand that Jesus was not coming as a warrior king who would save them from their earthly enemies. No, he had come humbly sitting on the back of a peaceful donkey for a much greater purpose. It's true that Jesus is the King of Kings and he has authority and power over everything, but it would be only a few days later when he would allow himself to be killed like a criminal on a cross. Why? Because Jesus came to save us from our sin. Next time we will take a look at one of the most important miracles Jesus ever did. But today, let's remember that Jesus is the King of Kings. Yes, he is. Help me say it so we never forget it. Jesus is the King of Kings. So, what do a donkey and a crown have in common? Jesus! The people of Jerusalem were right. Jesus is a king. But he's more than a human king who would rule over and protect his kingdom. He came in humility and peace, knowing that he would soon give his life to make a way for us to have forgiveness from the punishment of sin and have life that lasts forever with him. What king would allow himself to be punished and killed for a crime he didn't do? The King of Kings, of course, the one king who will rule forever and ever on the throne of heaven. That king is absolutely worthy of our praise forever and ever. So let's say that bottom line again. Jesus is the King of Kings. With that truth in mind, I want to encourage you to spend more time worshiping God this week as we prepare to remember and celebrate Jesus' death and resurrection. Maybe sing your favorite worship songs to him, or pray and tell him how amazing you think he is. Do whatever it is you think would be the best way for you to show Jesus that you believe he is the King of Kings.